I'm Carolyn Joel Elva, and this video is the conclusion of ideas and illustrations from my book, Proud to be Naked, Go Barefoot on the Road to Self-Discovery. Nasruddin understood that changing circumstances alter your reactions to situations. On one occasion, Nasruddin was seen to blow on his soup to cool it, and on other occasions to blow on his hands to warm them. As you progress with your self-analysis, you will understand the importance of enough, struggle, and balance. This is the legendary razor's edge. Each individual must walk on his unique path. From birth, struggle is vital and forces you to develop. No one should be denied some struggle. However, there is an optimum frustration level which keeps evolutionary tendencies working well. Watch a baby struggling to reach a new toy. You damage the baby's confidence if you immediately hand her the toy she's making such a valiant effort to get for herself. When she finally reaches it, she'll feel immense satisfaction and try the next time, even if it's further away. This internal balance needs careful observation. We each have senses, feelings, emotions, intuition, and thoughts, all competing in our lives. One of these may habitually take precedence, depending on our characteristics, and we lose our balance. For instance, I lose my balance when I write for too many hours and don't exercise, stop to eat, to see the sunset, talk to my cat, or ring my daughters. This leaves me feeling out of sorts. So what can I do? I can observe myself more often, which sharpens my perceptual skills so that I can predict how I may get out of balance and what my personal tendencies are. This helps me to catch myself more quickly, and I can do something practical to get back into balance. I understand when I have struggled enough and realize I may need help from a friend at this point. You can go overboard and work too long, too intensely, even in self-analysis. Check yourself. Enough is the important measure when balancing and struggling to get anything right. Give enough attention and energy to emotions, thoughts, and consequent actions. All lovers, skiers, surfers, and rock climbers know this. Balance in your inner life relates to its opposite, surplus, in your daily life. Surplus and the inevitable storage problems it creates is a major contributing factor to our discontent as individuals on an overpopulated planet and a world groaning under the weight of rubbish and pollution. You can do something about your excess in every part of your life. Lighten your burden. Missing characters you left behind. I have the potential for both good and ill will. The 7 deadly sins lie in me, alongside pure, joyful, creative innocence. Without this full spectrum, I am not whole, and I mistakenly project all that I don't accept about myself onto others. I give them my creativity and my anger to live out, and squander my birthright in this way. As I scan my past, I see aspects of my character which out of fear were denied, hidden, or left behind as I grew up. I bring these aspects into my life now by admitting to myself that I really want to understand what I'm missing. I do this by letting each hidden or forgotten part slowly come to life in dreams or behavior, by recognizing my creativity, my anger, and by seeing my part in every relationship. It's vital for me to include the dancing girl, the child who spoke happily to strangers, as well as the devilment in myself. Those parts I see and envy or fear in other people are my shadow, showing their presence by making me irritable towards some characteristic in a friend similar to my own weak or unpleasant ones. These include creative areas which I have neglected and which are now causing trouble. I need to look carefully at each of these, bring them out patiently, and claim them. Pool of passions. Belief structures our emotions and how we act on them. Consider this. I inherit the capacity to feel and exhibit several emotions in common with all humanity. How I choose to react depends on my moment in history. If I've been taught that when someone offends me, I must physically fight her or him, then my feelings will be strong enough to do this. We no longer duel over being bumped in the street as a matter of honor, although it might produce a violent argument if I feel wronged or insulted. Is it worth my anger? If I feel that what has happened is of no particular consequence, I won't feel the emotion of anger. This is also true for feelings of loss and grief. The strength of my feeling will be related to how valuable I consider the object, job, person was for my well-being and my place within my community. Expression of my passions are influenced or controlled by what I learned from my family and culture, including religious beliefs. For example, I may view love with the same beliefs and value placed on it by my surrounding group. If my culture has the belief that this passion we call love is worthy, it's easier for me to fall in love and probable that I will open myself to all the other passions of anger, grief, jealousy, and more. Are these worthy passions for me to fall into? Can they be curbed? Should they be curbed? Belief structures emotion, and I can educate myself to curb them, always remembering the strength of cultural pressures to conform. Which passions do I need to curb? In this very difficult struggle with myself, I start with the more destructive emotions of anger and jealousy, which call forth revenge and sometimes war. As the ancient fight in Troy over the beautiful Helen so vividly portrayed, I do not go down this road in the first place. I shout at myself at the first hint of jealousy, "Look out! Go another road! Find the scenic route!" For once I slip into the warmth of the pool of passions, it's too late for control of the range of emotions which may surface. If I have not stopped myself and get angry and jealous, then it's up to me to contain my emotions, to limit the damage to myself and others. Hard as it may be, I always have the option of walking away from someone who maliciously or unconsciously pushes me into the pool. It's vital for me to prepare for my reaction to overwhelming passion. Just as I educate and exercise the rest of my body and responses, I need to work consciously toward further evolution of my ancient brain, and to modify the urge to grab what I want now. I also need to recognize and curb the drive to maintain the species. From my urge to preserve it, I have developed the concepts of possession, territory, and war. Unconscious pulls, such as she's my lover and gene transmitter, or he's my boyfriend and protector of my nest, overpower good sense when you're caught with your guard down. Consider how much passion and compassion you need for a flourishing life. What can you change in yourself that has been embedded by your culture? What may be left over from an earlier evolutionary development that is no longer necessary for survival? Be aware of what it may mean for you and those around you. For this, you have my sincere good wishes, but keep a friend handy to pull you out just in case you dip your toe and lose your balance. This is vital preparation for a time you may be swamped and not thinking clearly. Find the scenic route and avoid the pool. Ask yourself if what you're doing is necessary, appropriate, and for whom. For instance, on a very practical level, is my son able to do his own laundry and feed himself occasionally? Do I need to drive my children to school and to after-school lessons every day? Do I respond to lovers and friends from my necessity or theirs? What do I need to do for myself and those I love to have a flourishing life? And what do I need to encourage them to do for themselves? Be persistent and turn these questions into appropriate action. This is the time to close the book. Build and push out your own boat and see if it floats, as Jung suggested to each of us. Learn from the past, the one you've lived, as well as what has been handed down in oral and written legends and history. At the same time, develop your own 21st century methods of educated self-analysis. I refer back to Freud and his important role in self-analysis because his work calls forth respect for his never-ending belief in combined practice and research. You can kid yourself that you're doing something in your intellectual pursuit of more knowledge, but only when you close the manual and experience self-analysis will you know for yourself. However, if you want to know more about Freud, Jung, and psychoanalysis, read their books and watch the next 2 videos on creative art and sand play therapies. It never hurts to know the background to these subjects. As has been said in Tibet, recognition and illumination are simultaneous.